everyone, it's Sharonda from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Handmaid's Tale Season 3, Episode 11, Liars! Okay, I'm sorry. That was so extra, y'all. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I just feel like I needed to be dramatic. Guys, I'm so sorry that I've been so sporadic with uploading videos. I actually have not been feeling well for the past 2 weeks. Been in a lot of pain this week. So much that I need to make a doctor's appointment because I just think that something is not right going on inside of my body right now. So I'm going to keep uploading videos as much as my body allows me to do so. I have a lot of movie reviews, TV show reviews I need to put up, and my Comic-Con coverage this week. That is what I am dedicated to. So you'll be getting video uploads. It's just going to be sporadic and when I feel well enough to record. So I apologize. So before I get into this week's episode, I want to give a shout out to my brother from another mother, Sharon Boyd. Hi, Sharani. That's what I call him. It's a long story. He wrote his first book called The Rights of Resistance. And I just want to say that I'm so super proud of you. It's a great book. I see you doing things out there, and I just want to let you guys know I took this photo. So if you guys see this, I'm a photographer too. But I put a link in the description section below. If you guys are interested and just want to read a description to see what the book's about, you can support, you can buy it. It's a quick read. It's just 1 hour. But I just wanted to say, congrats, Shirani. I'm so proud of you. Okay, I'm done, you guys. I'm done. So let's talk about this week's episode. A lot happened. At first, I thought that this was going to be like a really slow episode. I was like, y'all, you only got a few more episodes left. Like, what are you doing here? But a lot happened. Like, a lot didn't happen, but a lot happened. Okay, let's just go ahead and get into it. So, we're going to start with June. So, we saw at the end of last week's episode that we saw this huge table of muffins. And muffins mean yes. And so, basically, Beth put out into the network what June was trying to do. Is she's trying to deliver the children out of Gilead. And so, they received a response, an overwhelming response. And at this point, they now have to get 52 kids out of Gilead. Keep in mind that this truck was only supposed to hold 10 kids. So I was like, girl, what are you going to do with 52? I was concerned because I was just like, you only have one shot at this. To me, this is not a smuggle every week, every year operation. As soon as them first kids go missing, it's a wrap for y'all. So you got like a one and done, and that's really it. I don't see how this could be multiple trips that happen. So June is trying to figure out, like, how can I make this work? But before she can even get her thoughts together, she hears the commotion in Joseph's study. And so essentially Eleanor, and guys, I'm so sorry. I kept calling Eleanor Angela. I don't understand what I was doing. I know her name is Eleanor. My mind just be bad. I apologize. But Eleanor pulls a gun on her husband, Joseph. And so basically she is telling him, like, she's mad at him still because he performed the ceremony. He raped June in last week's episode witness. And so June is trying to stop Eleanor from killing Joseph because she needs him. So essentially she was just like, hey, don't do this. Like, we need him. I need him to carry out a task. And she was like, but he raped you. None of this would have happened because of him. And so I find it very interesting that even though I know Eleanor is bipolar, but the fact that she blames everything on him, or that the wives seem to blame everything on their husbands, but your silence still makes you complicit in the crime as well. And so I found it very interesting when June tells her, you have a part to play in this as well, and so do I. We all do. And so I think that it's very important for June to say that, because I think that we're so quick to blame this on Joseph because he's the one who came. He's the architect of all of this. Serena's the architect of, how they came up with this concept. But everyone who has sat there quiet and has enjoyed their privilege along the way, they haven't had to be raped, but they're okay with having other people raped. Even though Joseph and Eleanor, they feel as though, yes, I came up with this idea, but this was the only way for us to survive. We never participated in ceremonies. We never hurt any of our handmaids, but because you have been silent, you are still complicit in the crime, in the deaths of all the handmaids, the deaths of everyone in the colonies. And so I think it's very important for June to say this to Eleanor. And I think it's important for all of them to understand you have a role in all of this. So let me stop. I'm just doing the most right now. My bad. But I just felt her when she said that to her. And so she eventually calms Eleanor down. She explains to her, I need him. We need him to help get these kids out. We need him to help get you out. Like, girl, I want to kill him too. You think I like this fool? No, I don't like this fool. I would like to kill him too. I know she wanted to say, girl, I'll kill your behind too because you just as bad. But she ends up convincing Eleanor to put the gun down. and basically saves Joseph's life. And so I find it ironic that when they're sitting here talking about it, that basically Joseph calls her an ice queen. And so this is very funny to me, but also very telling, because June never seems to have fear in her face when she sees Eleanor pull this gun. And it's kind of like at this point, she's been through so much that nothing seems to faze her at this point. Nothing seems to throw her off her balance. Like, all y'all in Gilead crazy. So anything else that could happen, I don't think that I could be shocked at this point. He also has an interesting conversation with her as he's talking to her, as she tells him how many kids that she needs him to help her get out, is that he says, we overlooked, while we were creating Gilead, we overlooked mental illness, and we also overlooked maternal love. And I think that the whole maternal love aspect of it, even the mental illness, because for a lot of this, June still isn't 100% back to herself. And given the torture, the violence, being raped every month, the mental toll that can take on somebody. And so with him saying that we didn't take into account for mental illness and maternal love, a love that a woman has, that a mother has for her child, that men of all people could never understand this feeling because they are not mothers. They did not give birth, bring these children into the world. And so I find it very interesting that the things that they forgot, because they didn't take the input of women outside of what Serena, the foundation that Serena laid front, but she also wasn't a mother. And so I think it's very interesting how he brings up they miss maternal love, because all of the architects of this Gilead, they never understood what it felt like to be a mother in the first place. So I just found it very interesting, him bringing up those two things that they forgot. So she basically asked Joseph, like, hey, are you going to help me get these trucks or not? Because I just helped save your life. And so he said that he would try. So then she says, like, wouldn't it be funny if you actually became a hero for this? And so she was telling him this because in last week's episode, when she's trying to convince him to get not only his wife out, but to get himself out, she says that if you deliver the children out of Gilead, this will help forgive your treason to the country. But then basically we see that the next day that some of the Marthas from the network, they come to talk to June. Beth tells her, like, hey, they're here to speak to you. They're not too happy because they're kind of just like, ma'am, who told you to come up with this idea to get all the kids out? Because I know sure as heck we didn't tell you to do this. And so she was like, I came up with it on my own. And she was like, okay, so who said that was going to help you? Because we sure didn't give nobody authorization to help. And so whatever we say, it goes. So if we say people can't help, they can't help you. So she was like, hey, there are other people who have offered to do this. They're like, hey, we have other plans in place. There are things that we have been working on way before you decided to become Captain Save-A-Child and help everyone get out. And so she was just like, so you were really like coming between the plans and let these children stay here? Like, why would you do that? And she was like, you just don't understand. There are other things at play that you just don't know about. And so this is kind of bringing up the resistance talk, the plans that they had. They have a huge shipment that's coming. And so basically come to an agreement after Beth vouches for June that they're going to let her carry out her plan. However, this needs to happen after they get their after they smuggle a couple of items in. And then also, too, they tell June, if you get killed or if any of these Martha children get killed, that's on you. Their deaths, their blood is on your hands. And we will not help you clean anything up, and we will not help save you. So that's kind of the agreement that they decide to come to, which I can understand, because it's just like, June, like, you be really full of yourself. I understand that you have Joseph who's willing to help you, but just think things through. And I think it's really important, because when she tells Eleanor at the beginning of the episode, is like, sometimes like we can't make these rash decisions. We need to really think this through. I'm like, June, well, if this ain't the pot calling the kettle black, can you take your own advice that you just gave to Eleanor? Because I think that sometimes you forget to think things out. I don't know how the heck they finna get these 52 kids out, but I guess we would have to wait and see. But before we could even get to all of this to take place, the next day, June comes, she's in the kitchen with Beth, and then the other Martha, she puts the food down. She's like, hey, she didn't touch her food. And she's like, did she even bring it in her room? She was like, no. And then they discover that Joseph has taken Eleanor. They tried to get out on their own. He shredded all of his notes. She walks into the room. She sees all the shredded paper and the books left over. And so essentially she's like, we're screwed. Like, I don't know what to do. Beth is just like, we need to give up. Like, I guess I can go back to the hotel with Jezebels and figure something out. And then maybe you can get placed with another family. But before they can even have time to really freak out as to what was going to happen, and once they discover that the Lawrences were gone, Joseph comes back. And then he says, like, you know, what made you think that I was going to put you before my wife? Which he had a point. June, sometimes I just think that you get beside yourself and you just really think that everybody's just about helping you, but there are other people that everyone in Gilead has to care about. Like, you have Hannah, Nicole, Luke, like, he has his wife to take care of. That's all that he's been trying to do since day one. So she says, she's like, sir, you didn't come back for us. You didn't come back to try to help me get out, help put me in a better situation. Something happened. Tell me what it was. So essentially, he has restrictions on him. There's new protocols that they put in place that they purposely kept him out of the loop. I would assume that Fred or Mr. Winslow has something to do with this, even though he did the ceremony, that they still don't fully trust Joseph, that they feel as though he has something that he is hiding. They just don't know what. And so... So basically, she has Joseph take her to the hotel, and we see that she's looking for Billy, the person that Beth said that she put in charge to help smuggle stuff. So she finds Billy. He's the bartender at the bar. They have a conversation. She was like, hey, I need you to help smuggle, Commander Lawrence out, his wife Eleanor out, and then I need you to smuggle 52 kids. And he was like, girl, are you out of your everlasting mind? No, I'm not doing that. And then so essentially she tells him, hey, if you help smuggle all these people out, we will give you all of the high art collection that Joseph has. He has all of these Picassos, so that would make him a lot of money. So that's the deal that they make. I don't know if they made the deal because he just said, I think about it. Because like he just like, girl, you crazy. I can't do this. You got 20 minutes to get everybody in this plane, and I'm leaving. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. But before June can even walk out, I heard somebody say of Joseph. And I said, oh, Lord, say it ain't so. Y'all, it was Mr. Winslow. I said, girl, you finna to die. So he was like, I thought that was you. And I was like, Lord, please don't let her die right now. Like, I wouldn't be mad, but I'm still like, don't let this happen right now. I came with Mr. Winslow. So essentially, he ends up taking her upstairs to the room. He asks her, like, what are you doing here? Like, did Joseph bring you here? And she was like, yes. And he's like, so why is Joseph not in this room with you? And then she was like, he just likes to bring me in. He lets me do my thing and I tell him stories. And so he was like, well, let's give you something to tell him about. I said, oh, okay. So I'm thinking she talking to herself like, hey, it's just a job. I've done this before. Mr. Fred Raggedy behind used to take her there. So I'm just thinking, okay, she's just gonna take one for the team, do what she gotta do to get out of this, and that's it. So, he telling her, like, take your panties off, leave your shoes on. And I was like, okay, I feel as though something's about to take a turn for the worse. And then he tells her to get on her stomach, and I was like, Lord, is she finna kill him? I feel like she finna kill him, or I feel like he finna rape. I don't know what's about to happen, but it doesn't make me feel good in my soul right now. And of course, she ends up kicking him. They end up fighting each other. He's trying to choke her. Then she get a pen. She stabbed him 15 million times. I was like, girl, I don't know if this pen gonna necessarily take him out. He kind of big. I don't think you're gonna be able to do this. But eventually, she stabs him enough to where he's like gasping for air. I'm assuming she hit him in the lungs in a couple of different places. So before, as she picks up this like statue to hit him with, he had about the audacity to be like, my kids. Sir, really? The kids that you stole from other people? The kids that you raped their mothers to get? Stop it. So she hits him. She kills him. She's in shock. I'm in shock. I'm like, Lord, she finna die. You kill all the people you killed, Mr. Winslow. I wish you would kill Raggedy Fred. You had more than enough opportunities to do so and kill Serena. But she killed Mr. Winslow. She's in shock, sitting there. Then a Martha comes in and she was like, hey, take this key. Like, this is how you can get out. And she was like, I remember you. You saved me from the cages. So when June had the opportunity given by Joseph to save a couple of women that she chose for the resistance, that was one of the women that she chose. And so essentially she helps her get out. She helps clean up the crime scene, clean up all of the mess. June sneaks out. She's trying to get out. But I'm like, June, you don't want to put a coat on? You got all this blood on? I'm just like, somebody's going to catch you. I don't understand why. I know you're in shock. But girl, you done been through way more than this to be making these mistakes. And I thought like the little couple the commander and one of the Jezebels, I thought that he was going to see the blood, but somehow she got away. She got in the car. Fred took her home, and we see that they end up cleaning the carpet, cleaned the blood, got rid of the murder weapon, a pen, and the statue thing she cleaned off, and then they burned Mr. Winslow, Commander Winslow's body. So I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, they're going to have to find out that he's missing and he was in Gilead. So I don't know how all of that's going to play out, but it ain't looking too good for anybody. We see that when June's getting ready, and I think it's very clever how they show she goes back to her normal routine after she wakes up in the morning, how the Marthas at the hotel are going through their normal routine of just cleaning the room, even though she's vacuuming and cleaning up with a rug Dr. Blood. I don't know what kind of rug Dr. Yao was using to get all that out. I found that a little hard to believe, but hey, I guess they got some real heavy duty machines in Gilead. And so we then see that Joseph hands June a gun at the end of the episode, basically saying they're going to be coming for us. I don't know if he says that because he thinks that because he tried to get out that they're looking at him, or I don't know if she actually told him that she killed Mr. Winslow. I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in next week's episode. But before we can stop, we have to talk about Serena and Fred raggedy behind. I can't stand them. I'm mad I even got to talk about them. But we saw at the end of last week's episode that Serena basically had a conversation with Fred and said, hey, I need my daughter back. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you have going on, you need to put that to the side. I need my daughter back. I've been more than patient. She shows him the phone from Mr. Truello. So essentially they're going to meet him. So I'm thinking that they're going to smuggle the baby out of Canada. I don't know what crazy plan that they had, that they came up with, but I think it's very interesting that when Serena's about to leave, Rita asks her, like, are you sure that this is what is best for Nicole? She's trying to remind Serena that, hey, you let the baby leave because you knew that she would have a better life if she went to Canada. So are you sure that you want to bring her back into this world of Gilead where she has no rights, where, you know, she could potentially be raped? Like, are you sure that this is the life that you want for her? And so I find it very interesting that, you know, as they're about to leave, Fred pulls up in the car. He talks about how it feels good to actually drive. Then he ends up letting Serena drive, which is a big no-no. I'm like, so you had this girl finger chopped off because she wanted to start reading and stuff, and now you let her drive and everything is fine and dandy. I just can't take the back and forth on what day they want to follow the rules. The next day they don't want to follow the rules. They just so privileged. It just bothers me. But you can tell that there's still aspects of their previous lives that they do miss. And there's a very interesting conversation that Fred and Serena has as they're at this house that they're staying for the night. And so Fred also brings up to Serena that he feels as though she doesn't want Nicole to come back to Gilead. And so June has tried to get through to her. Rita has tried to get through to her. And Fred also sees the doubts that Serena has. And so I found it interesting that they talk about their early in their marriage, you know, when she was writing her first book. And then she asked him, like, how could you take that away from me? And so he was just like, I didn't know, like, if I can do this all over again, like, I don't need the power. I don't need the Winslows. Like, I just want to raise our daughter. And I was like, Fred, why are you lying? All you care about is power. You let your daughter stay in Canada sorry. Ooh, she's not your daughter. You let your kidnapped daughter that you call your daughter stay in Canada for extra months just to increase your power and influence with the Winslows. So you sit up here telling Serena how you support her, how you would give it all up. I would risk it all so I could just be with you and my daughter. Stop lying. Why you always lying, Fred? He just get on my nerves. Every time I see him, I just like, ugh. He just bothers me. So we see that they kind of have an exchange, and then we see that later later that night, we see that Serena was like, come here. I was like, Serena, you finna give him some after all the mess he done did to you? Okay. So he got in the bed with her. We just saw him kiss her because, you know, they can't have sex with one another. And then I like how Fred admitted that, like, he can't have kids. Because I was just like, because they were talking about how he would have left her. And then he was like, no, you would have left me first. I was just like, y'all, stop this, because y'all know y'all don't love each other. Y'all don't want to be with each other. I just can't even take this whole thing now where they're trying to show Fred and Serena trying to reconnect. I just can't deal with it. I hope she didn't give him none, because his little raggedy behind don't deserve nothing. But you know what? If you needed to get your rocks off Serena, I understand if that's what you needed, but I don't like neither one of y'all still, whatever. But the most interesting part of this is the next day when they're going to meet Mr. Truello. He pulls up and he was like, hey, just follow me up here. And I was like, something don't seem right. I feel like it's a setup, but I don't know who's setting who up at this point. And then Fred asked Serena, like, do you trust him? Because even he like, girl, something ain't right with this. And so she was like, yes, I trust him. I was like, don't trust him. I don't trust none of y'all actually in this situation. So he's like, he's following him. I'm like, y'all, like, up the way is just like up the way. Y'all going in heels. I see a whole tree change. Like, there's different trees and stuff now. What's going on? And so he stops his car. He gets out, and then Fred gets out the car. And then basically it was a setup. They arrested Fred. They arrested Serena. But I think Serena set Fred up. I think that she knew that he was going to be arrested because she just didn't look right. Something didn't seem right. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm glad Fred raggedy behind bars. And if they want to go ahead and throw Serena in the jail, put her under. Put both of them under the jail. Under the entire jail, because that's what they deserve. Because they ain't ish. They ain't going to never be ish. Okay? They're treasonous. They're war criminals. Give them all the counts. All the counts. Find them guilty on everything. I just want to see how this whole thing play out, because Fred and Serena was doing their own thing. So I don't know if Gilead can even protect them at this point as, like, you know, government officials of Gilead. I don't know what's going to happen. But I do think that Serena set Fred up. I don't feel like none of this adds up. All of a sudden you want to sleep with your husband, you want to reminisce and stuff. I don't trust this whole situation. You guys let me know what you think. Did Serena set him up, or did Mr. Truello, the real MVP, set both of they raggedy behinds up? I don't know. But yeah, you know, this episode was interesting. It's like a lot happened but didn't happen. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's because I'm just tired and in pain. I don't know, y'all. But those are my thoughts on The Handmaid's Tale. I'm excited to see how these last, I think it's only 2 more episodes, or maybe it's 1 more. I don't know. I'll just see how many episodes keep popping up. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I felt like, even with the death of Mr. Winslow and Fred getting arrested, that I still wanted more to happen because there's not that many episodes left. But this is still satisfying. Mr. Winslow died. I love me some Christopher Maloney. He always plays some raggedy characters, but I love watching him on screen. He did a very fantastic job. But I want to see how this cover-up plays out. And also, too, what is this going to mean for Gilead? What is this going to mean for baby Nicole? And how does this work with Fred and Serena behind bars now? So those are my thoughts on The Handmaid's Tale, Season 3, Episode 11, Liars! Sorry, I couldn't help myself. As always, my name is Sharonda from Payroll Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3,000. I'll see you guys soon.